All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Prime Cuts with Captain Beefy. I am Captain Beefy. Today we're going to talk about something that's been going on now for quite some time, and that is hate crime hoaxes in the United States. And, the latest one that we've seen that has really taken on a life of its own is the whole Jussie Smollett incident that occurred back on January 29th, 2019. Now, we'll bring this story back together. I know we talked about this in my very first video that kind of wrapped up January of 2019. It kind of went over several different things that occurred, including the Covington mess. But Jussie Smollett claimed that he was attacked by two white men in ski masks at 2 a.m. in Chicago in freezing weather. These two gentlemen attacked him, put a rope around his neck, threw bleach on him, and screamed, "This is MAGA country," while using racial and homosexual slurs against him. Sounds pretty awful. The liberal media, Democratic senators and congresswomen, and so forth and so on, everybody jumped on this story because, it's so typical of a Trump supporter to go out and do this. I mean, we see it all the time, right? Well, not really. So I called it the very first day I heard about it. I said, this story just fits the media's narrative so perfectly that it's impossible to be true. My father taught me a long time ago that if something sounds too good to be true, it's not true. And in this case, it was not true. It was not true. So it turns out these two MAGA supporters, and we'll kind of bring all this together. Okay, let's back it up just a hair. Prior to this attack, Jussie had received a letter in the mail that it had a cartoonish drawing of a man hanging from a tree, and it had like the letters cut out of magazines and all that, making up, I think they were calling him a homosexual slur in there, and yada yada, and the return address was MAGA. I guess that didn't get enough attention, so the attack occurred a couple weeks later. Now, the attack sounded fishy right from the start. First off, Jussie Smollett is an actor in a TV show called Empire on Fox, which is a show about, I guess, the music industry and in Chicago and focusing on the black music industry up there, right? Not the kind of thing that a typical white MAGA supporter would watch, especially if he hates black people and homosexuals. I mean, it's just stupid. I am a movie guy. As you can see, I've got quite a collection of movies. I got TV shows and all that. I didn't know who this guy was until January 30th when I saw Anna Navarro tweet out her, disdain for the Trump supporters that did this and so forth. So, as the story unfolded, Jussie said that he was on the phone with his manager at the time, and his story has changed and altered as we've gone along. Police asked for his phone so they could, use it, take it in for evidence and all that, and he refused to give it up. And I believe it was approximately 2 weeks before he finally turned his phone in. And he also gave them a list of phone numbers, a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet, I guess, of numbers that he had contacted, and there were several numbers that were redacted off of it. Well, the police matched the phone record to his record and noticed the disparity there, and they made contact to the numbers that were not on both lists because, that didn't look suspicious at all, right? All right, so we move forward a tiny bit. Turns out that the houses of two men, and everybody keeps calling them Nigerian men, even though they're born here in the United States and are American citizens. As far as I'm concerned, they're American men, but I guess they are of Nigerian descent. Maybe their parents came over from Nigeria. But in any case, these two men, who were clearly not white MAGA supporters, they raided her home, and I guess they found evidence there of the crime. That a Tabasco bottle with bleach in it, I guess, and some other stuff, some magazines that may have been used to cut out and send out that letter to them, just several different things. Also, video surveillance showed one of the brothers, I don't remember if both of them were in the video, but one of the brothers buying the rope that was used, and it turned out to be clothesline, to lynch him with. So it's more stuff. Yeah, I mean it's pretty comical overall. So as we continue to keep looking at this case, then other things came out. They have hundreds of hours of video surveillance in the area that the police had to go through, and they tracked Jesse's movements from the subway that he went to at 2 a.m. to his home. He was off screen or off camera for a minute approximately, and I guess that's when the attack occurred, which is very, very convenient. Um, he had a sub in one hand, was talking on the phone in the other. He got accosted by two men, but when he comes back in frame, he still has his phone in one hand and his sub in the other. I don't know if you've ever been in a fight, but you're going to kind of toss that stuff aside so your hands are free to fight. So it just reeks of, horse shit the whole way through. It's horrible. And the hits just keep on coming. So anyways, more evidence comes up. I guess, apparently these guys rehearsed this beforehand from what I understand, which is, even worse. And, the whole thing is just, it's a real clown move on his part. It really is, for this guy to do something like that. Now, we've all know the stories. There's a lot of people out there talking about this. People on Twitter, that some of them are actually calling, like I read a tweet today saying that, well, this is obviously a cry for help. I don't know what to say to that, to be honest with you, because to me, it's not a cry for help. To me, this is a guy that has a history of bashing Trump. We've seen it on his Twitter timeline, and in an interview he did for Good Morning America, he's like, "I come at 45 hard. That's why they targeted me." Dude, come on, man. Nobody knew who you were prior to January 29th. I'm sorry to tell you that, Jussie Smollet. Unless you were an Empire fan or your mother, nobody knew who you were, and nobody really gave a damn about you, bro. Nobody. Now everybody knows who you are, and everybody thinks you're an a-hole. Pretty much everybody. I mean, you got a few supporters out there. Trust me, there's always some bleeding heart liberal pansy that's going to be like, "Oh well, he needed help. He's reaching out." No, dude, you wanted attention. Okay, you wanted attention. I don't know if your career wasn't going the way you wanted it to go, so you wanted to get a little more high profile. Thought this would be a great way to do it. Was that it? If so, dude, you kind of really screwed yourself over, because from what I understand, Empire's cut your role down significantly. I think you were set up to be in 9 episodes. Now they dropped it to 4. More than likely, your character is going to be written out of the show sooner than later, depending on how things go. It might kill you off. Maybe they'll have a couple Nigerians attack you and kill you off at a concert. I don't know. In the show. I don't know. But anyways, the whole point of this thing is like, why did this happen? Why did this happen? Now, another interesting thing that was going on was Kamala Harris was pushing an anti-lynching bill at the same time this lynching occurred. And there are all pictures that have surfaced of him with Kamala Harris in the same frame at some sort of rally. There are pictures of him with Obama. So this guy has political ties from before all this, with at least Kamala Harris and President or former President Obama. And I don't remember if there was one with Cory Booker or not. I don't know. But in any case, I kind of think there was, but maybe there wasn't. So there's a guy with political ties. They might just be, hey, I'm a celebrity. I hang out with politicians sometimes because politicians think they're rock stars these days. I don't know. But, his support clearly lies with the resistance against Trump. Now, was this attack staged and timed in such a way to coincide with the attempt to pass that bill to say, see, lynching's still a problem in America. Black folks are still getting lynched by white crazed MAGA supporters who are wearing their red hats underneath their ski masks. That's like wearing that white hood. No, dude, sorry. It's not the way it is. That's not the way it is. But what you did do is you did damage the country. So congratulations on that. You damaged the country. You helped increase a divide between our citizens. And I hope you're proud of that, dude. I really do. I hope you're proud of that, because that's what you've achieved here. And I hope all charges are pressed against you. I hope that the fact that you sent that letter in the mail to yourself, I hope that becomes a federal crime. And you have to do time in a federal penitentiary for it. I hope that you do time for wasting time on the Chicago Police Department. I don't know how many man hours are wasted. I heard they had 12 detectives on it or so. I mean, regardless, I mean, you wasted a lot of people's time. You created, or, you helped expand a divide that already exists in this country between the quote unquote left and right, the black and white, the deplorables, and however you want to look at it. You helped push that divide. And why? Did you do it to help Kamala Harris out? If you did, I hope that comes out, and I hope she burns at the stake for that too, and it ruins her career and her run for the presidency. Did you do it because you weren't getting enough attention on your show, and maybe you wanted to get your name out there and get recognized a little bit more, and maybe get a sympathy job in a movie or something like that? If you did, I hope that never happens either. I hope you go down for this, bro. I mean, it's nothing personal. I don't take the fact that accused white MAGA supporters personally. You're probably just a pawn for the left, but maybe you're just a little selfish kid. I don't know, and I don't care. But what you did does real harm. A couple days ago now, it's February 20th today, I think it was over the weekend, in Kentucky, at a Sam's Club, a man confronted a couple that were wearing MAGA hats, Make America Great Again hats, with a gun, and told them today's a good day to die. This isn't a made-up hoax. This is caught on camera, surveillance camera and all that, and it was witnessed and seen. The man's now in jail. That's what a hate crime looks like, dude. There's a white guy and a white couple, had nothing to do with race and all that. It had to do with ideology, and that's what's really hurting us right now, is our ideologies. We are so far apart that I don't know if we're ever going to be able to bring it back together and bring this country back together and heal it. But if we're going to heal it, we can't have assholes like you running around pulling stunts like this, dude. It's wrong. And you should be held accountable for it. And the people who supported you and helped spread this story without knowing the truth, and, they should be held accountable for it. Just like the people that hazed those Covington boys and said, printed libelous stories about them and all that. The Washington Post is being sued for $250 million by Nick Sandmann right now. I hope he wins every penny of it, and I hope they go after everybody else who called those kids racist and said that they were all these terrible things about them, caused bomb threats to go to their school, had their parents doxxed. They could have ruined these kids' lives. They could have got these kids killed, and you could have got people killed. Think about that. It's disgusting. Well, I'm going to go ahead and bring this one to a close right now. Thank you for watching. Go ahead and hit that like button below if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. And feel free to share this on social media, wherever you go. I appreciate the views. I appreciate the comments, all that kind of feedback, anything you want to say. I'm Captain Beefy with Prime Cuts with Captain Beefy. Peace.